like South Boston. I'm like, no.
Nope.
And she's like, what? And I'm like, just trust me on this. If he lives in Southie, he's not ready.
Welcome back to Drinks After Work with your hosts, Shannen and Abby, where we give you that after work happy hour energy and talk about everything and anything under the sun other than work, baby.
Woo! Welcome back to episode 19.
19!
Yes. If you're new here, follow us on Instagram. It's at @drinksafterwork_. And on TikTok, it's at @drinksafterwork _. And if you're a Boston baddie, join our private Facebook group. Link in bio.
And if you're from Boston, but you're not sure if you're a baddie, still join.
Yeah, still join. You'll know if we accept you or not. Just kidding. We accept everyone as long as you're a girl.
As long as you're a girl. Our guy friends have tried to sneak in.
Yeah.
A few of them have worn disguises and posted pictures of themselves like trying to look super girly, and it's just nothing gets by us.
Nope, we're catching on. Also, just one more shameless plug for our merch. If you guys haven't yet shopped our merch line, link again in bio. We decided, we just had so much fun with our merch giveaway that we did a couple weeks ago that we're going to do another one.
Yeah, we're going to do another one. We're super excited for you guys to be a part of it. So we're 53 followers away from 2,000 followers on Instagram.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know. Because I remember, like, so for people that listening to this, they might be like, that's not a big deal at all. But to us, it is a big deal. Because I remember last June when Abby and I first decided to start this Instagram, or maybe it was like July.
July.
Yeah, and we would like dream of getting to like 100 followers. And then I remember when we got to 100, we were like, oh my gosh, like let's try to get to 200. And it was so exciting every single time we saw someone follow us. And
I know.
And then I remember like getting to 500 and 1,000. And now we're just like, okay, like 2,000, that's so exciting. So we wanted to have a little giveaway once we hit that.
Yeah, so once we hit 2K, we will announce the merch giveaway. So make sure you tell your friends to tell their friends to follow us on Instagram. Literally takes 2 seconds.
Yes.
But yeah, we don't ask for much.
Yeah, exactly. So follow us, and then just keep your eyes peeled over the next few weeks. Whenever we hit it, we'll be probably going to be dropping something on our feed about what the giveaway is and instructions on it. So stay tuned.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive into Drunk Deets.
Let's just dive in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
First wanted to just quickly take a moment to pay our respects. A couple days ago, Earl Simmons, aka DMX, passed away.
Yeah.
Which is really sad to hear. He was a really popular rapper in the late 90s. So I know I'm a 95 baby. Are you 94 or are you 95?
95.
You're 95, yeah. So I don't know what majority of our audience, I know some of them are probably still 90s babies. So you guys probably know who we're talking about. But he did die late of last week. He died at the age of 50 after a drug overdose. And I know he had a week-long battle in a vegetative state. And I know he had a hard life. Like,
yeah, no, he definitely was. He was someone that suffered a really hard life. But I think he just brought so much joy to so many people. I remember in high school, just me and my friends like absolutely just loving everything that he would put out. Like we'd play party up in here, like in class.
Wear the hood at. That was another banger.
Yes. So he brought a lot of joy to a lot of people, which is obviously something to be proud of. So definitely thoughts and prayers go out to his loved ones and his family.
And his fans.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we just figured we would mention that and just pay our respects in that way. Next update we had, and this one is interesting because it's not something that necessarily just happened, but something I really didn't know a lot about. So this past week, Holly Madison came out with a bunch of information about her time at the Playboy Mansion. If those of you that don't know Holly Madison, she was one of like the main bunnies. Exactly. Yeah. So she went on Call Her Daddy, the podcast, and she really opened up. She was one of the girls that did not sign any sort of like NDA or anything like that. So she was able to kind of speak freely about her experience there. Basically, she talked about a bunch of stuff. Some of it was really disturbing. Some of it was more just funny. I think it opened up like a can of worms of like drama between the bunnies. But I was listening to it, and I think the biggest thing that really just hit me was the fact that I feel like in the early 2000s we like glamorized, or like at least mainstream media kind of like glamorized the whole idea of like, oh, living in the Playboy Mansion and just like like Hugh Hefner and his girls.
Yeah.
But like no one ever like took a second to be like, wow, like maybe this is kind of messed up what's happening here.
Yeah, I think like you're so right, because I thought that like that was so cool. Like when I was younger, I was like, oh, that's sick. Like all these girls get to live in this mansion.
Yeah, and like go
get to all these
shopping
cool
and get like
and stuff.
Yes.
But it's actually sad if you guys listen to the interview that she did with Alex Cooper. It's actually really sad because I mean there was a point in Holly's time in the mansion where she did end up being Hugh Hefner's
like main girlfriend.
Main girl, and you would think that that's like something to go after, but actually all of the girls in the house did not want to be the main girlfriend, because that meant sleeping in his bed with him every single night, and no one wanted to do that.
Another thing like that was crazy, so she basically like recounts her time as a bunny. She was there for years and years, but she was 22 years old when she first went there, and I feel like that just like struck a chord with me, because I mean we're not that much older than that, but 22 feels so young still. And a lot of these girls, they were like in their super early 20s, and I just can't imagine, like she talked about coming kind of from nothing. She was trying to become an actress. She didn't really have anything like else in this world, and she was like, in my mind, like this was my only opportunity, like this is like my only option. And she talked about like the first night she went out with them and like staying over and like all the mess up stuff, like really disturbing stuff that they ended up having to do. And she was just like, I was so uncomfortable by the experience, but I stayed around because in my mind I didn't want to have like pushed my boundaries and like done all these things and have it be for nothing. So I stuck around, which is just like so sad to me. And she talked about like love bombing and Stockholm syndrome, like a lot of like very real things that affect girls from like a mental health perspective. And she was like, I thought I was in love with this man, and I actually wasn't, and I was being manipulated. Like they had a 9 p.m. curfew at the house, and there was just like all these
going out to parties. Like if they weren't at a party with him, that they had to be in the house by 9 p.m.
Exactly. And like they talked, like there was a 9 p.m. curfew if they weren't going out to parties. There was all these like crazy rules. The girls would all fight, and he would like manipulate them. Yeah, he would like manipulate them into thinking that like the issue was with each other, not the fact that they were all dating like an 80-year-old and they were 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So something that struck out to me in the interview with Alex was that she said basically all the girls in the house would get a weekly allowance of $1,000 every single week, and it was strictly like for spending money on clothes, because he was like, all right, you guys need to look good at all the events that you guys go to, like with me, so here's a weekly allowance. You are to only use it on clothes and like accessories and like things to make their appearance look better. And girls in the house would literally, so like I guess like Holly said that some girls would like try to like sneak like saving money, but that was extremely frowned upon, because girls were saving money to try to leave the mansion because they didn't want to be in this life anymore, but then they had nowhere else to go. Exactly. And then girls would rat on each other.
But they would like all try to like mess each other up and stuff.
Like they'd be like, they would literally snitch on each other and be like, oh, like she didn't have a new outfit like this week, like she must not have used her allowance. Like, and then I just think that's like, you would think that since all the girls are in the same situation, like they would be like
there for each other.
And that was not the case.
It was like part of the hell. It was also crazy too, because she talked about it, and she was like, when I first was introduced to the Playboy Mansion, it was very glamorized. Like all the girls, when they talked to me, they spoke so highly of Hef. Like he seemed like the nicest guy. His friends spoke so highly of him. So he just felt like this very successful man who was obviously older, but successful. Everyone loved him. He was a good person. Like that was always like the resounding idea. Like, oh, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. But she was like, is he a good guy though, to like manipulate all these young girls who probably don't really know better into this relationship? And it's like a classic example of, okay, you get to, go there and get all these clothes, live in this beautiful mansion, and like he'd pay for like their plastic surgery. They'd look however they wanted to look, or however he wanted them to look.
Thing for like blonde.
Exactly,
like
they were all platinum like blonde, fake boobs, like. Yeah. But it was also like at what cost? You know what I mean? And I think when I was listening to the interview, it actually just made me really sad, because I was thinking back to it, and I was just in my head like, when you think about those times, like even still to this day, people are like, oh yeah, like Hugh Hefner, he's the man, he's so cool. Oh yeah, the Playboy bunnies, yeah, like so cool. But in the end of the day, like the girls were human beings, and I feel like people kind of like dehumanize them. They're like, oh, it's just like these bimbos, and they're all dating this like older guy, and that's as far as it went. But it's like, okay, well, these girls were 20 and their brains weren't even fully developed.
Spring has sprung and it's time for some spring cleaning.
Yeah, so we've said it before and we'll say it again. Spring has freaking sprung, people.
The flowers are blooming, the grass is growing, and it's time to chop the weeds.
It is time for some spring cleaning.
You know what we mean. But thanks to our sponsor, Manscaped, you can trim your holes safely and efficiently.
Yes. So Manscaped, they are the global leaders in men's below-the-waist grooming, and they've forever changed the grooming game with their amazing products. Abby.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Weed Whacker?
No.
Well, have you ever been on a date with a guy, and from literally across the table, you can just see nose hairs just sticking out of his nose?
Actually, yeah, I have, and it's like the biggest turnoff and like makes me lose my appetite. I'm like, wait, like this dinner can end early because you don't groom your nostrils, so I don't even want to know what's going on elsewhere.
Guys think that we don't eat on dates because we're starting to stay skinny. It's actually because we don't like to see your nose hairs sticking out.
Yeah.
But anyways, we have a way to solve your problems. It is called the Weed Whacker.
Yes, this Weed Whacker provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in delicate areas. No more gross nose hairs flying in the wind.
Flying in the wind. I love that. It's amazing. So guys, you're going to head over to manscaped.com. They have a large array of products, including the Performance Package, which is in front of us right now. They can get you looking nice and shiny and sparkly from head to toe. So you're going to go over there and you're going to use code Big Night for 20% off plus free shipping over at manscaped.com.
Yes. Join the other 2 million men who trust Manscaped.
Yes. They're going to be here to make sure that you're trimmed, smelling nice, and after a nice hot boy summer.
Hot boy summer.
Hot boy summer.
So men, do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. And ladies, don't be afraid to pick this up for your man. He might be offended at the beginning, but after, he will thank you.
Yes, because happy wife is a happy life. These girls were, in a sense, taken advantage of, and they were super young. They like were barely adults, and they were kind of dehumanized. It's like, oh, they're just the Playboy bunnies. Right. Yeah, like they knew what they were getting themselves into, but it's like, did they? Like, should anyone have to go through that?
Probably not, because it was so like hush hush. Like I feel like you said, like she was the only one that didn't sign an NDA. Mm-hmm. So obviously, like you can't like ask the girls like how things are going on the inside. If you're an outsider, like they're just gonna lie to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, but I guess like the whole interview with Call Her Daddy like stirred the pot, and like Kendra Wilkinson, who was also a Playboy bunny, she like responded to Holly's interview and was like, dude, it's 2021, times have changed, I forgive and have kids to love and focus on. And I guess like Crystal, so I'm literally so like detached from like mainstream media. Like I didn't even know Hugh Hefner died. I guess he died in like
what?
I guess he died in 2017 at the age of 91. Like I didn't know that.
I mean, it's utterly shocking.
I mean, I just like don't care. But
no, I know. I just felt like I remember the moment when he died, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, really? Hugh Hefner! Like, I can't believe this!" And everyone was like putting the tributes up on Instagram. They're like, "He was the man!" Like, whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I guess Crystal. I do know her last name. I actually don't.
Hefner.
Oh, true. Okay, Crystal. Crystal Hefner married him 5 years before his death, so in 2012. And I guess like Crystal's like taking sides with Kendra. So like, I just think I would love and again, there's two sides to every story. Mm-hmm. There's Kendra's story, Holly's story, Crystal's story, Hugh Hefner's story, and then there's the truth. And like, we're never gonna know, but like,
no,
I think like the main takeaway is that like, you never know like what's going on in someone's life or in someone's situation. Like from the outside, it can look like everything's perfect and like glamorous, but really like it sucks.
Well, I mean, and a lot of the girls said they were like, because basically this interview came out and a lot of the girls were kind of like, why is she talking so badly about Hef? Like he gave us all this opportunity. We all have, they all met like pro athletes. They all signed book deals. Like they all have all this stuff going for them because of him. Mm-hmm. But I do think that there is like a level of like trauma that could come along with a relationship like that. So I feel like it's kind of like a give and take, right? So
absolutely.
It's super interesting. But yeah, what else we got?
All right, next on Drunk Deets. So Bad Baby, aka Catch Me Outside Girl, aka Danielle Bregoli. So she was the girl who was on Dr. Phil. Did you see that? Do you know who she is?
Yeah, I like tried to avoid that at all costs because I hated that whole era where everyone was like, catch me outside. But
yeah,
no, it wasn't super cringy, not what I wanted.
super cringy, but she's been making a lot of headlines this week. So originally when I had saw this, so basically I guess like, I'm not even gonna dive into it because it's honestly sad and you guys can like do your own research, but basically like when she was on Dr. Phil, like seeing him for help for her very, very bad behavior, she was sent to like a therapeutic boarding school and it was called Turnabout Ranch. And like basically like I guess she recently like just dished all about like all like allegations of abuse that she faced there.
Oh my gosh.
And I honestly believe it because I've seen like a lot of other like similar like branches that do the same thing and like people like there's Netflix documentary, so I honestly believe it, that she probably endured a like emotional and physical trauma while there. But so that was like I saw that in headlines and then I started doing more research on her because I was like, you know, what has she been doing since Dr. Phil?
Like where is she now?
Like other than her like one hit wonder Gucci flip-flops, what is she doing? Have you heard it?
No.
It's a banger, I'm not gonna lie.
It's a banger.
I mean, no.
I probably have heard it, I just don't know the name.
It's so catchy. You can love her or hate her, but you know, you can't deny that your head starts to bob when you hear it.
You get like a little fist pump going and you can't stop.
It's yeah, I'll give her that. But okay, so the main point is that she recently turned 18, which is like still wild to me. I didn't realize that she was that young. So she turned 18 a week or two ago, and I guess before she turned 18 she told like all of her fans that when she did turn 18 that she would create an OnlyFans because you have to be, the minimum age is 18 to join OnlyFans. So she held up her end of the bargain and she made an OnlyFans this past April 1st, and within her first 6 hours of having OnlyFans she made over $1 million.
Wow.
Which I guess is like a record or something. Like she broke you can buy her subscription for $23.99 per month, which is kind of a lot. Like I, unfortunately, like I thought about subscribing for research purposes, but I was like, you're not worth $23. Sorry. She currently has 33 posts and she said that she will not be posting any nude or sexually explicit content.
So is it just her like talking and stuff?
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I can't confirm or deny that she's not posting that stuff because it's illegal to like leak someone's OnlyFans and I'm not paying $24 a month to find out.
Yeah, true. Interesting.
So basically like her joining it, and I guess when she released, I guess it was like at midnight that she released and like people ran to join and to subscribe her to her OnlyFans. And I just think it's kind of weird like how many people were like anticipating her turning of legal age to make an OnlyFans. Like it's a little creepy.
Yeah, I agree.
So people are saying like, oh, like should OnlyFans have like a 21 plus minimum age?
Yeah. I honestly think that a lot of things should have a 21 plus age. Like even James Charles is under heat right now because he was like talking to people that were under 18, didn't know, it was like flirty messages. He claimed that they said that they were 18. They claimed that they didn't say that. He put out an apology video. Right. But I just think it's this weird thing where it's like, oh, as soon as you're 18, everything's fine. And I'm like,
you're an adult.
Who the hell decided that? Like when I was 18, I definitely was not making smart decisions or rational decisions. I was definitely a freshman in college. I definitely look back at some of those days and I'm like, what was wrong with me? And I think it's just like your brain is not fully developed as an 18-year-old. It's not till I don't know. I always wonder this, if we were if they moved like college back till when you were like 24, do you think it would be as crazy as it was? Because I feel like
that's a good question.
You know, I was thinking that because I was like, maybe it would be as crazy because you're still like, it's your first time out of your parents' house and you're still like going wild. But there's a part of me that's like, would your brain start to
access to 24-year-old money? Because that would change things.
True, but like
there's a lot of college kids that are struggling broke college kids and like are just like working part-time jobs to like afford alcohol, but like a 24-year-old with 24-year-old money in college would be dangerous.
I guess I'm more so thinking of like just setting back the time. So let's say high school went until you were like 23 and you're still living in your parents' house. Okay. Just fully from like how your brain is and like your body is developed. I almost feel like people would be less crazy because they'd be more tired.
Hangovers.
Yes, the hangovers would be worse.
So
and
bad.
I feel like they would just be, I don't know. I just I think you reach a point in your life where like your brain all of a sudden wakes up and it's like, wait, what the hell was I just doing? Like, why would I do that? And I think when you're 18, you just don't think that way. You don't think with any like sort of repercussions. So I think like the whole idea of like, oh, the clock strikes midnight and now you're an adult, that's just so bizarre to me.
Right. Honestly, like I think the voting age should be higher.
Way higher.
I think getting a license should be higher. I literally within the first 2 years of my license, between 16 and 18, I crashed. I totaled 2 cars.
Yeah.
Because I was stupid and thought speeding was cool and like
I thought I was cool. I had a need for speed.
Oh, the amount of times. No, not only did I have a speeding problem, but I had a tailgating problem. Like
you had a tailgating problem. Oh my gosh. How was it before? Because I would love to know. Even these days, like we're in the car together and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is it.
Okay, well, 16, 17, 18-year-old me literally had people call the cops on me for tailgate. I remember one time I literally got home and there was a cop waiting in our driveway because like 3 people called the cops on me.
3 people.
I think like probably if like one person called, they'd be like, okay, fine, it's just an angry person. But like more than one person called in my journey home. So.
And you were just like, it was a regular drive for you?
I don't know. I think I had anger management back then. Am I being honest? I think I just like was an angry teenager.
Just like an angry.
I was just angry at life and just taking it on.
Did you go through like the emo stage that everyone went through? You know that's coming back.
Yeah.
Like people in high school, like that phase is like a thing again. Like the whole like goth emo like vibe, or like I don't know if it's punk or emo or something.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
I don't really. That sucks. I hate that for them. But to dial it back,
we digress.
I honestly don't think it'd be a horrible idea to make OnlyFans 21 plus.
Yeah, I think that if you're going to make any decision that could permanently affect your life and have things out there and your future and your ability to get a job or whatever, I don't think that decision should be made at 18. I think it needs to be way older than that. I'm talking like 25. Like move it way back. Like you have no idea what you're doing. Like if I was judged for the decisions I made when I was 18 today, like I probably wouldn't have a job or any friends. You know what I mean? I would be done. So
literally same. You're so right.
I don't know.
Oh my God, imagine having like TikTok back then and the cringy TikToks we would have made.
No, I think that sometimes today I'm like, I'm so happy because I mean we have embarrassing photos out there from like Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
But like they're just photos.
I archived the ones on Insta.
Yeah, like imagine. Remember when Vine was around?
Mm-hmm. I never posted on Vine though.
I posted like one video,
didn't.
but it was like on a boat of like the water. Like it wasn't embarrassing. But imagine if like you're one of those people that are really into Vine and like those videos are still out there somewhere. I would die. I feel like people are gonna feel like that. Like people who are gonna have like kids someday, I feel like their kids are gonna find their like TikToks and be like, why did you do this?
Oh God. Okay, well, can someone take one for the team please and subscribe to Bad Baby and let us know if she is in fact posting wholesome family friendly content, or if she went against what she said. I guess she has 33 posts as of now and it's only been like 2 weeks, so homegirl is cranking those posts out.
Cranking them out. Okay, so this past weekend, Abby and I, we hung out. So it was one of those rare days in April where it got to be like, what, 70? I think was
it like 73, I think was the highest.
73? Yeah. Wow, that's actually kind of warm for the Northeast.
Yeah, you're telling me. Global warming. Woo!
So we had a little day. We went out. We did some day drinking. We were like mentally preparing for this for so long. Like I went to bed at 10 p.m. the night before because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make it all day.
Same.
I FaceTimed my mom and I was like, all right, like I'm going to bed early tonight. I need to, I'm putting in like a double shift tomorrow. I have to...
AKA a bar hop.
I was like, I have to get my beauty sleep because or else I'm not going to make it out.
So right.
But we went out and we did some hopping. We went to... Where did we go?
We went to Causeway. That's where we started. Then we moseyed on to Sons of Boston. Gotta love it.
Wait, actually, those are like not normal day drinking spots. We went to like places people don't go to day drink.
Yeah, but honestly, like it was so underrated because the environment, like the atmosphere was fire, the music was fire,
yeah,
like the service was good, and like they were both busy. And then we like ended the day at Banners, which is like typical of us.
But, classic.
Yeah, we had ourselves a day,
and then we got insomnia cookies delivered.
Yeah, you can't have a bar hop without insomnia cookies.
I know. You know what's crazy though is so you're like, I don't know if everywhere in the world deals with this, but especially in Boston, those days in the spring where you have like a nice day where it hits like 65 or 70 degrees, all of a sudden all the biddies are out.
Yeah.
And they're wearing sundresses and they're wearing tank tops and shorts and they're just like busting out all their nicest outfits. And you're like, where the hell have you guys been all winter?
Yeah, like literally you could not make a reservation anywhere because everyone and their mom was out and about this past weekend.
Yes. And you feel like you're in college again. Like that first nice weekend of the summer, like you walk out and it's just herds of girls.
Yeah.
Just like 10 girls here, 6 girls there, and they're all just walking around and they're like dressed to the nines. And it's like the same girls that have been wearing sweatpants all through the winter, including myself. So it's not coming for them. But like we were all just like shit all winter. And then it's like, all right, it's 70 degrees out. We're going to put on makeup. We're going to put on a crop top and we're going to hit the streets.
Literally, it's like the second it gets warm out, people forget how to act. And then they just act up. And like, I swear to God, it's probably, I mean, pros and cons, but it's probably for the best that I don't live in a climate that it's always warm, because I think my liver would be not okay.
Yeah. But this is what I'm wondering though. Like, do you think I'd like to know, like in the southern states or places where it's warm, like Arizona, is it crazy all the time, or do people just kind of get used to it? Because I kind of like the buzz in the air when it starts to get warm in Boston.
Feel it in the air. It's just different.
Yes, people get excited and people are like, woo, woo, and you feel like you're in college again, and you wake up at like 7 a.m. and it's like, all right, we're going to get up at 7 a.m. We're going to pregame in Southie, then we're going to hit Lincoln, then we're going to go to a rooftop bar, then we're going to go here, go there. And it's so fun because it's like we want to savor
every
that day.
Second of warmth that we
because you never know when it's going to become friggin' 40 degrees again, which it did.
Yep.
Literally today I could see my breath in the air. I was like, okay, not what I want.
It was so nice leaving Sons of Boston at like, I think we left at like 7 p.m. and it was dark out, or it was like just about getting dark, and we were in like tank tops and it was okay.
Yeah,
like I wasn't like obviously like sweating, but I wasn't like freezing. Like I was like okay, I was comfortable. And it just like the little things I feel like we take for granted, and it's like when the air doesn't hurt you.
It's like a nice feeling.
It's a nice feeling
when you can like walk out of a building and not have to put a jacket on and you feel like normal, and you're like, wow, like it's the little things.
It is. However, those little things do come
at a price.
They come at a price.
Do you think you're ready for, what is it, hot girl summer?
No.
Wait, so what is like, okay, so I understand what hot girl summer is like conceptually, but I've kind of tried to ignore it because I hated the term and I thought it was stupid because people say it so much. Like, what is it? Is it just like, oh, like I look hot in the summer? Is that what it is? Or just because of the song?
You know, I don't know if that's a good question. I don't know if the song had anything to it. I don't know what came first, the song or the saying. But I think personally, hot girl summer is more of a mentality than it is like based off of looks. I kind of think it's like, all right, no, like leave your mans at home. The girls are rallying. We're putting our phones on airplane mode. Don't try to get in contact because we are going out and showing Boston that we are the Boston baddies.
It's hot girl summer.
It is hot girl summer. Get out of our way.
Okay, I kind of like that. I take back what I said.
Yes, but I do think that there is also kind of like a tiny bit of emphasis on like the hot girl part. And like, I just think like prepping for hot girl summer is kind of like not fun.
Yeah, it's like a lot of pressure.
It is.
Especially when you've like crawled out of the hole.
Especially coming out of quarantine.
Yes. I'm like, okay, we were out this weekend and I was wearing like a tank top and I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't even, I was like scared because of like my arms. I was like, I don't want people to see my arms yet.
Literally, I'm like, I'm wearing a short sleeve today for those of you watching on YouTube, and I'm like insecure about it because I'm not tan
because you're like pale and
I'm pale and you can see my alligator skin, and I just like I don't love it, but it's kicking me into overdrive because now I'm like, all right, well now I need to get my summer bod in check because warm weather all the time is right around the corner.
Which is scary.
It's scary. I'm excited, but I'm also scared because I don't want to watch what I eat anymore. Like I don't want to, like I feel like once it's warm, I'm like, oh, do I really want those French fries?
Yeah, it's like annoying. I think I'm over it. It's like
a moment on the lips, forever on the hips. And like, I don't want a lot on my hips when I'm wearing a bathing suit.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think that's, I'm just over it. I can't. Like, I remember last time we went to Miami and I was talking to Janine and I was like, I just like don't ever want to feel like, it's just like annoying. It's like, oh, like I don't want to eat this. And it's like, it's just like stupid.
Right. No,
it just like annoys me.
stupid.
I'm like, can this like be done now? I'm over it.
I think we have issues though, but I think like more people are just like clean eating now and like starting to exercise more, which I will hand it to myself. Like other than pure bar classes, I do exercise more in the summer just because I like to
nice
go.
out.
I like to go on runs. I like to rollerblade, and I only do it when it's nice out. So it's easier to want to exercise.
Yeah.
I feel like people in the South or on the West Coast take it for granted.
Right.
Because I don't want to go for a run. Like I literally will see people running outside when it's like 40, 50 degrees out, even 30-degree weathers. But like it needs to be at least 65 degrees and above
for me to
run outside or rollerblade outside. I can't bring myself to do it. But I just like also want to know, like people in the South or the West Coast, like do you feel pressure to exercise all year round and be in shape all year round?
Right.
Or
because like I kind of take comfort in the winter.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh, I get to put on like 6 sweaters and like a blanket and no one has to know what I look like and I can just eat all the snacks in the world.
Yeah.
It's like kind of fun. It's like my hibernation time. And then in the summer I'm like, oh shit, all right, I guess I'll like go for like a bike ride or whatever. But you're so right. I think like you always see these girls in like Miami or LA and they're like, OMG, just like got off with my trainer and now I'm gonna go grab like a green smoothie and whatever. And it's like we only have to deal with that for 3 months, but some girls have to deal with that all year round.
I don't think I'm made for that.
I don't think I'm made for it either. And it's a lot of pressure. Like even I just think like as a girl, and this isn't to say that guys don't have their own stressors as well. I've never been a guy, so I don't know. But I think as a girl, you just go through like so much pressure. Like everything about you has to be perfect. Like in the summer, you have to be tan. You have to make sure that your armpits are shaved and your
pedicures are done.
That your pedicure is done. You have to make sure that your like legs aren't hairy, which is like so annoying because in the winter I can sneak in like a good like 4 or 5 days without shaving my legs, but not in the summer. Has to be like every day. And just like little things like that. I just think it's so much pressure on top of like all the other shit I have to do.
You're right. I can't relate to the legs things because I have this thing where if I can feel prickle in my sheets in bed, I can't sleep and I have to shower and shave my legs. So that's just a me problem. But I do agree that like having like usually when I get pedicures in the winter, it's like few and far between because I'm like, all right, well, no one's really looking at my toes. And if you are, like you're a freak. But in the summer and the spring, like you wear sandals.
If you are, you're a freak.
You probably have a foot fetish.
What are you looking at, freak?
And in that case, if you're a freak and you want to see my feet, slide in my DMs. We'll talk. But the whole like having to be like tan all the time because like people are seeing your legs. Yeah. Like you're wearing like shorts or dresses or like whatever. Or you're wearing like shirts that show your arms. And like I want to be tan, but it's so annoying having to either do self tanner or honestly, unpopular opinion, I hate tanning outside. I think it's annoying. I don't find joy in like basking in the sun and sweating.
No, it's also like not great.
Tan. Like I wish I could just be tan, you know?
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you. You know what I was like thinking too?
What?
So like quarantine is still very much like a thing, but I think it's going to be interesting how this summer goes. I just think like the dating dynamic these days is just so peculiar and I'm seeing and like correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm like noticing like a trend towards kind of the girls being the players these days.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've had multiple friends that I've been talking to over the past few weeks who have been like, yeah, like I've been talking to this guy, like we met on Hinge or we met on Tinder or I've been on a few dates with this guy. And they're just like, yeah, I'm just not really feeling it. I'm like weighing my options. And the guy's the one that's kind of like chasing the girl and like obsessed with her. And she's like, I don't know. I'm just like not really feeling it. And I feel like it always used to be the reverse where a girl would be like so hung up on a guy. And maybe this is just my experience I've had, but I've had like this happen with a bunch of my friends lately. And I'm like, what is going on?
I would love to know if TikTok is to thank for that because I'm not even kidding. And I know you don't watch TikTok religiously like I do, but there's like a literal like toxic talk. Like they literally call it like toxic talk.
It's
like
called
welcome to toxic talk where there's like at least like there's like a couple accounts that I can think of where like they literally dedicate their whole TikTok account to like training girls how to like play guys.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like advice about how to be toxic.
Yeah.
So we get funny. What world do we live in?
I'm literally like thinking back to like all the times guys have played me and I'm like, haha, I don't feel bad for you. But like for like a second, I'm like, wait, no, like I kind of do feel bad, but the same, cause like watching it, like being in a happy relationship now, like I watch these toxic talk videos and I'm like, that's sad. Like just like be honest, like, and if they don't appreciate it, then move on to the next. But then
do you ever like miss being toxic though? Do you miss the toxic days? No.
I'd be lying if I said no.
Yeah.
Because everyone likes a little fight every now and then.
Yeah.
But no, definitely. I can't. No, I don't miss it. No. But I do think that maybe social media is having a play and like girls are starting to rally. And I do think that TikTok has like kind of created like a community where girls can like talk and like share experiences, because like if you literally read the comment section on any of these TikToks, it's insane, and like girls are just like telling their experiences and like sharing their tips and stuff, and I'm like, yo, girls are becoming unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
Is that word?
No, I know
you
you
can't
mean.
fuck with them now because they're learning how to fuck back. Fuck with you back.
You're just like not saying things correctly. I'm like so confused. Because you're saying girls are like becoming like, they're like, it's like the, what is it? The student has become the master, I think is what you're saying. Yes. Okay.
That's what I'm saying in my words.
In my words.
You got me.
No, I completely agree with you. I think that like, I don't know, just like I've noticed it recently where girls are just kind of like, they're like kind of the players in the relationship and they're the ones with the roster. They're the ones going on dates with guys and they're kind of like, all right, like I don't really know if I'm interested in any of these people. And I kind of love it because I think for like most of the time the guys kind of hold the ball in their court. And I kind of like to see the girls be like, you know what? And like you said, like sometimes I'll be like, oh my gosh, I kind of feel bad for that guy. But then I remembered that he's probably screwed over so many girls in his life.
Literally.
And I'm like, I don't feel bad for you at all.
Nope. So I think maybe TikTok could be the thing for that, or hear me out, or quarantine made girls realize that they can survive on their own, because for like a time in quarantine, like when like COVID was like real bad at the beginning, like you literally would never see a stranger, like
you
if
wouldn't
they weren't
see
in
anyone.
your immediate circle, like you would like talk to people on Hinge or Tinder, whatever it is, and you would never meet up with them. But I feel like now people are slowly starting to like meet with like strangers again, and like talk to people in public, but like,
and you're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. But like back then, like at the beginning of quarantine, like you were straight up alone. And I feel like people, at least girls maybe, like have become comfortable with being alone.
Yeah, that's actually a great point, because that's like part of like my group of friends that I was talking to, because I was asking them, I was like, oh hey, like how has like dating been? How has it been, you know, being single through quarantine? And they're like, honestly, in the beginning it was kind of lonely, but over the months I realized like I got into my routine and like my self-care, and I get up early and I would, you know, journal and I'd go to the gym and I'd cook really healthy, and like I started feeling really good about myself, and I realized like I was okay being alone. And I feel like when you kind of realize that about yourself and you take that time to be like, hey, like I'm happy with myself, I'm happy with my life, I have a, you know, a good job, I like what I have going on, I have good friends, I feel like you can reach a point where you're like, unless someone's really worth it, I'm not gonna bring someone else into my life unless they're really that great. And that might not be the case for everyone, but just of the people I've talked to lately, I think that it's kind of interesting because you spend all this time by yourself and all of a sudden you're not willing to settle because you're like, I don't feel like I deserve to settle. Whereas before, maybe if you were constantly going on like dates with guys and like looking for that fulfillment, you'd be more willing to, you know, settle for this Southie douchebag or whoever it is that happens to. They don't have to live in Southie, but they probably do.
They probably do.
Sorry.
Oh, it's so funny because my roommate is new to Boston.
Okay.
And she's single and like kind of recently single. And so like obviously she has me to like introduce her to people in like the city, but like she's new, and like it's so funny because she's on Hinge. I don't think she's on Tinder, but she's on Hinge, and like she'll be like showing me guys that she matches with, and like I'll like go through their profile and I'll see that they live in Boston. I'm like, no, or like South Boston. I'm like, no. Nope. And she's like, what? And I'm like, just trust me on this. If he lives in Southie, he's not ready to stop being a fuckboy. So
he's not ready for a committed relationship. No. And she's like, how do you know that by where he like, but you're like, no. I just know. Trust me on this one.
I know. It's so funny. And I'm like, no, we're just going to delete him. We're just not going to do that.
I could be completely wrong about this, but actually I was talking to my sister about this yesterday, and we were saying how like Murray Hill is like the New York version of Southie, which I don't know if that's actually true. So I'd love to talk to someone from New York if that's the case. But like of the times I've visited New York, I feel like that's so true, where they're like, oh yeah, all like the Southie douchebags is like the Murray Hill douchebags who like all work in finance. It's like the exact same thing. So I feel like every city has like their Southie.
Yeah, 100%. That's so interesting.
But honestly, in all honesty, I think that it also goes back to like, because I was like thinking about it, I feel like as girls, when you first meet a guy, like you build up this idea of him in your head, and you're like in love with the idea of someone, not who they actually are. Yeah. So I feel like you might like meet a guy on a dating app, and especially because of, quarantine and everything, you're spending more time talking online or on the app or whatever, and you're probably like building up the idea of this person where you're like, oh my gosh, he checks off all my boxes and he's amazing and blah, blah, blah. And then you meet him in person and like he's not anywhere close to what he is in your head. Right. So it's probably just like such a letdown sometimes.
So I personally don't really have a lot of experience on dating apps, just because like the time that I was single in my life, like I just like, it's just like not me. And I'm not to say I was never on it at one point, but like it just wasn't my thing. But yeah, for my friends that have been on it, I remember kind of recently one of my friends was talking to me about going on a Hinge date, and she was kind of like nervous about it, and she was like, well, I haven't really talked to him like that much, like I just don't know. And she like showed me the conversation with him, and I was like, well, like, yeah, you're right, like you guys haven't talked that much, but honestly it's probably best, because the longer you talk to someone like on a dating app and you don't meet them, the longer you give yourself time to build this version of them in your head.
So true.
That's like not actually them, because you haven't met them yet, so you don't know. So it's like the longer you go without meeting them, the more the more you're leading yourself up for disappointment when you do meet them, because like you see pictures of them and like they may be better looking when you meet them in person, but they also might not look like their pictures. Yeah. Like they might not be as good looking as their pictures that they posted, but also like their personality and stuff, like they might be a horrible texter, but they might be really good in person, or vice versa. So it's like, it's honestly almost better. And I told her, I was like, honestly, I would just go for it. Like just go and like see how it is. And she ended up having a great time. But I was like, see, like if you gave yourself even more time, you just would have been more disappointed.
I honestly think you're so right. I think talking to a guy for like weeks and weeks and like even like months, which that might be like a bit much, I think it's honestly like the kiss of death sometimes for a relationship. Yeah. Because you're going to get to know them online, and it's really going to be so different when you see them in person. It's never going to be what you think it's going to be, and it could be for better, for worse, or they could be funnier or taller or shorter, like it doesn't matter, but it's not going to be what you expect. Exactly. It's like when you read a book and
you watch the movie,
reading Twilight, and you have an idea of who Edward Cullen is, and you watch the movie and you're like, what the hell am I watching? It's the exact same thing. Like it's never going to be as good as what you worked up in your head. So I think you're so right. I think my advice is, if you're on a dating app, you meet a guy, maybe you exchange a few sentences and you're like, all right, let's grab drinks or something. You go on that date and you get to know him, because if you get to know the guy via the dating app,
you're not getting to know the real person.
Right. You're not getting to know the real person. And it's also like you're going to show up to that date and you're going to know everything about them, but you've never actually met them.
Right.
So you're going to be like, hey, what do we have to talk about? I already know that you have, 3 sisters and a cat.
Like, and I also did an extensive background check on you and know that your aunt has a summer house in Jersey.
Exactly.
So let him tell you that.
Yeah. Like just figure it out.
On the background check.
Because I just think it's no coincidence that every guy I've had like a long-term relationship with has been someone I met in person. Like, and I've been on all the dating apps. I've been on dates, like a bunch of dates that I like of guys that I've met on dating apps when I was single, and none of them ever led anywhere. It's only been guys that I like met accidentally in person or like whatever that I ended up actually talking to, and I feel like that's not by chance.
Yeah. Well, ladies, Boston baddies, get ready for Hot Girl Summer, because she will be here if you get your Shot Girl
She'll
Summer.
be coming around the mountain.
Oh, God. Okay. So we skipped the over-under last week. So we're going to bring it back this week. And I'm going to start off with underrated, okay?
Okay.
Hear me out. SoundCloud.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay. So I honestly think SoundCloud is so underrated. Like everyone is like always talking about like Apple and Spotify. Like I always shit on you for having Apple Music and like you don't have Spotify. I am a diehard Spotify person, but I also am a diehard SoundCloud user because I'm not even kidding. The best remixes that you can only find on SoundCloud like come from SoundCloud.
That's so true. And like a lot of songs on SoundCloud you cannot find anywhere else.
Yes.
Like you can't find them.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a copyrighted thing where like because like there's so many people on SoundCloud, like you hear like a fire remix, like literally so good. And it's just some like regular Joe Schmo person like in freaking Arizona, like that knows how to DJ and like can turn it up and like make a dope track. But then like everyone's like release it, like put it on Spotify, and they can't. But I literally am always on SoundCloud looking for new things.
Do you have, so is it like the SoundCloud app? Because like I do want to get it. I just don't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
It's an app? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And it has like everything, like does it have things that are on iTunes and Spotify as well?
Yeah, like it has like the original songs
too.
It
does. It has like
but
the normal
songs. It's just
songs.
like a place for artists to, one, like also like smaller artists who like, I don't really know how you get on Spotify, but also smaller artists like put their music on SoundCloud and like hope that it blows up. But like, I'm telling you, the best remixes come from SoundCloud. Boom, case closed.
Boom, case closed. Okay. Yeah. No, honestly, I agree with you because there's so many times guys, like people have sent me songs and they're on SoundCloud and it won't let me listen to them. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And you always make fun of me for it.
It's underrated.
It's underrated. All right. So for overrated, the only thing overrated other than myself, I think is pizza. I think pizza is so overrated.
Okay, that's funny you say that because in like middle school, I don't know if it was elementary or middle school, I hated pizza. And like, I feel like that was like primetime pizza party time.
Yeah.
And like every birthday party was like pizza. And I was like, and like, I just don't love it. But now like I've grown to like appreciate, like I don't like care for like a cheese pizza, but like a nice marg.
Yeah. So like, I guess my one little like caveat to that is that a really like fun over the top pizza or like California Pizza Kitchen, like the really thin crispy crust, I think is good. So it's not that I hate all pizza. I just think it's not worth the hype.
Yeah.
Like a plain cheese pizza, first off, I don't think it tastes that good. I think you eat it and you don't feel that great. I know I don't feel that great. And I just think it's like what is it? It's literally just like bread and like it's like cheese dough and cheese. And it's, I don't know. It's like overpriced.
Yeah, so I hate like Chicago deep dish, and I hate like
you don't like
thick,
it.
Yeah, I don't like thick
Same.
pizza crust.
Yes,
I don't like the stuffed like the crust stuff with cheese.
Yes, it feels like too much. Like it's, and like I love cheesy
like
bread and stuff
at that point.
Exactly, it's just something about the like thick, like gooey pizza. Like I just don't like it, and I'd rather like the really like thin crusted like whatever.
Yeah, no, I like thin too. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there are way better things to eat than pizza. I'll give you that.
Some people like swear by pizza, but I also think that like you could be two things in life. You're either a pizza person or you're a French fry person.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like some people like their go-to snack is like, oh, like I want to eat something unhealthy, I'm gonna get pizza. But I feel like for me, it's like no, I want poutine. Yes. Which is why I went to Sauce this weekend.
You did?
Yes.
When? Sunday?
Saturday or Friday.
I was like Saturday. When the hell did we go to Sauce?
Well, no, on Friday, because remember I told you I was staying in and I was going to be productive. So I went to Sephora and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Sephora. I'm going to buy some. And then they were closing in 4 minutes and they told me I wasn't allowed to come in unless I could grab something quickly and pay. And I was like, well, there's no way in hell that's happening. So I just walked away. So I rewarded myself with poutine.
Oh. That's not a bad trade, you know?
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for you this week. So thank you so much for tuning in for another episode. If you haven't already, definitely follow us on social media. Like we said, we're going to be putting out another giveaway once we hit 2,000 followers on Instagram. So tell your friends to follow us. Tell your mom to follow us, your dad, your grandfather, whoever. Tell them to follow us.
Yes. Join our private Facebook group if you're a Boston baddie.
Yes.
And also, if you're listening to this today, Wednesday, we're going to be posting on our Instagram story shortly, but we are having our first male guest on the podcast next week.
Woo! We're not just for girls.
No, we are for the boys too. And he happens to be from Boston. He happens to have 1.2 million followers on TikTok with a collective 54.5 million likes across all of his TikTok videos.
Oh my God. What the hell was that? With a collective
54.5 million likes. And I thought our 19,000 likes was impressive. No, 54 million. So yeah, so we will be, if you need us, we will be prepping for that until further notice.
But
he seems like a great guy. We can't wait to have him on next week. So make sure you guys tune in.
Yes, definitely tune in next week. It's going to be way better than this week's episode. So if you hated this week's, don't worry, you'll like next week's. We're kidding. I'm kidding.
She's not kidding.
I'm not kidding.
She's probably going to cry on the way home.
Like I do every single week.
Yep.
But yeah, follow us on social media. If you're listening on Apple, leave us a rating and review. Whatever you want to say, just let it out. Put it in the burn book. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you, baddies.
Bye, baddies.
Woo!